Hello and welcome to the last episode of my tutorial series how to create a fantasy weapon for video games. Today we will finish this warhammer here, this weapon, and you will learn how to paint the rest of the textures that are needed for our model. So today you will learn how to create this nice hammer head with the bloody splatter here. And additionally you will learn how to paint this cord and these parts here in the lower element of our hammer. So I hope you have fun and go okay. Then let's go. We start to continue creating the textures for our hammer here. The last time we have created the textures for the handle and we learned the main functions to create the rest, the left or the other textures here in the model. As you can see, this is a real-time model and I will continue to texture the hammer now, the hammer head here. Before I start to texture this hammer head, I will add a new texture information here to project this texture onto the hammer. To do this, I go to the stamps window here and click on new, and again our assistant window appear, and now I can choose the textures that have to be used in our stamp tool. So what I do now, I will use just the depth texture information and the color texture information. The specular texture information will be left empty here. So I click here into the black or into the gray elements and choose this time choose the texture information that I have prepared before and open it here. Then I choose the color information. The color information for my texture is here, this texture, and open it here and say OK. After the texture was added into the stamps window, it appears here as a projection. This rectangle here represents the texture that was imported, and as you can see, you see the borders of our texture here in this projection example. After I've created this new stamp or this new projection, not only the texture was displayed, a preview options window appear here too. So what I can do now is I can switch the tiling for the texture on and off. The tiling is an option to repeat the texture that is projected here. So for example, when I choose a white color and I start to project something, then you see the projection is projected just to this area here. And with tiling it can be projected everywhere. So I switch the tiling option on and I can now project our texture information onto the hammer. Before I project the information, I set my view to the orthogonal or orthographic mode. This is much better for projecting textures because you have not the problem with perspective. In perspective, textures will be squeezed and deformed a little bit when they are projected into the far elements here. Okay, I reset my texture because my texture has a special resolution, and I show it to you. At the moment we can see just 30% of our original texture, and I set it to 100, and now the texture can be seen, but I cannot see my model. That's okay because I have set my texture visibility here to 100%. And as you can see, the texture resolution is a little bit blurry, so I can switch and zoom into the texture by using the shift key and holding the shift key and moving my mouse with my right mouse button forward and backward, and it will be zoomed. These functions that I'm using by using the keys are the same like here. So what I do now is I reset reset my texture, and it will be reset to a main resolution. I think it's twice the resolution of the viewport, but I'm not sure. Okay, I set it now to 30 and zoom a little bit out. So, okay. Now I can start to project my information here. Before you project in textures, remember you have always to choose the white color if you don't want to calculate the color information, the pan color with your texture. I give you an example to remember. When I choose a different color than white, for example this green here, then my texture will be projected, but I see my texture information with some amount of green in the texture. So when I want to get the original texture color, so I have to choose the white value here by choosing it here by clicking on this color button here, or by pressing the space bar, and now a small fast shortcut window or a panel appear, and you have the same tools here that you can find on the side. And now you can choose some colors that are defined here, and now you can choose a white color to project. Maybe a small note for this shortcut here. When you are clicking on the right mouse button, you can load an own palette that have to be represented here. So for example, if you have saved a palette by here onto your hard disk, so you can load it by choosing load, and then you can open it. The good thing is 3D Code are importing or loading ACO, Adobe Color Palettes. So it means you can save in Photoshop your palette if you like, and you can open it here. And this is very, very nice. And as you have seen, this shortcut works here in the center. When you are pressing the right mouse button somewhere here on the color wheel, then your main color will be stored here in these positions. So for example, when I choose the red value and say OK, press my color wheel and say right mouse button, then it will be stored at this position here. Always when I press right mouse button, it will be stored here. To get the main colors or the default colors back, you can say load palette, and we are here in the 3D Code V4 version 4 palette folder, and now we can choose the wheel color file, open, and now you see the colors are back and you can use them again. So this is very nice, and a lot of people don't know that you can click here in the center and open it, or save your colors by clicking on the right mouse button. Good. I choose a white color, and now my projection will be projected here on my hammerhead. I like always not to see my texture when I don't use it, because I think it disturbs a little bit when you are working. So what I do now is I click here through the modes. You have different modes, and say to hidden, and the texture is always hidden. But as soon as you move your mouse pointer outside of your object and use the right mouse button and move with the mouse button, then you can see the texture again. This is very nice, because then you can control your texture and turn it or reset the texture and so on. It all works, but you see just when you move it here with the right mouse button. This yellow dot, as you remember, it is a small menu. It is a small menu. You can choose it, and I show you the texture, and choose it and move the texture here. You can scale it in the 4 directions, and you can scale the main scale of your texture, and you can move it left or right vertically and so on. You see some value elements here. The values are not very important here in such a texture, but if you are working with templates that you are using for any reason, then it's very good to know how many units you have moved your texture. And this one is here for turning the texture. This shortcut menu is the same with the right mouse button. You can hide it with the right mouse button. This menu is the same as like here. You can do this the same here. So what I do now is I reset them again and say I zoom it a little bit out and project it again. Good. Additionally, if you have seen in my last tutorial, I like to switch the shading mode off when I'm working here in this mode. To do this, just go to the view and say flat shade. If you don't have the shortcut for flat shade, just press the End key and then press the number, the key number you are using for your shortcut. So I have used 2. 3 is for my specular information and 2 is here for the flat view. I like the flat view a lot because here you have the same color information like in Photoshop. So you have no shading and you have the pure texture information for your hammer here. So what I do now is, as you see, I am painting my texture, and as you can see, this here is the normal map mode. In the normal maps there are no normal map information stored, but I go to the right mouse button here and show you my stamp again by using edit stamp, and now I can see my textures that are used for this stamp or for this projection, and I can choose new textures, or I can see where the textures are stored. And as you can see, I'm using normal map information here, the bomb texture, the depth texture. So, but when I'm painting and I move to my relief only or normal map mode, then nothing happens. And when I switch my normal map ball here on, then I can paint color information as it is used here. You see, and you see the normal map information will be stored too. Again, color and normals. When you are doing this, be aware that you are using the right layer here. So what I have done is I've projected all my information here into the X into the handle cavity dark layer, and I don't want this. Actually, I will delete this information by going on the rubber here and choose. I'm pressing the E key. It's the same like here, and choosing the rectangle here, the lasso. The difference between a rectangle is you can make a rectangle, and here you are really only able to do quads, to quadratic quads, I don't know, quad elements here, quad selection, rectangle, no, quad. I'm coming from Germany, so don't be surprised about my experience in English. Okie dokie. So when I delete my information here, then all my information will be deleted on the handle too. So I make undo. I don't want this. So what I do now is I can save the handle by using this lock here, and when I'm deleting, only the hammerhead will be deleted and not here the cavity information. And the same happen when you are switching the handle off. You are when it disappears, you can use the I button here and then deleting all the information, and it will be deleted, but the handle information is still there. Good. If you have problems deleting information that is behind your object, I explain it again because a lot of people sometimes forget to do this. When I delete something here with my rectangle, then it's gone, and it's always here gone too. Not all, as I see, but some people, or sometimes it's not deleted. So what you have to do is you must be sure you have clicked ignore back faces on. In this case it was not switched on. It means ignore back faces means don't delete all information that is don't delete information that is not visible. So as you can see, I make undo and I switch my handle off here and I delete it, so my information is still here. But when I switch it off, yes, don't ignore them, then all will be deleted here. So great, I delete everything and everything, and nothing is here. So now all the information that I've painted here into the cavity dark layer that was wrong is now deleted. Because it's a handle layer. So what I do now is I will create a new directory. Before I create a new directory for my new layers, I explain you what happened when you switch this layer on and you click on new directory. Then nothing happens, okie dokie. But sometimes when I click a new layer, yes, this was the issue, was with the new layer, but it's not actually an issue. So I have selected my handle directory and the new layer was created here. What I would like to explain is this happens the same when you are doing a new folder, but it does not. Okay, that's good. So I've created a new layer folder, and I call it hammerhead, and into this folder all new layers will be added that we need for our hammerhead. So the first one is the hammerhead main or base color. The base color, with the base color I mean our base structure that comes from our texture that I have imported. So okay, now I will start to paint, to project it. I can do it by hand, and I will show you the second problem if you forget to switch a special option on. So as you can see, I am painting now color information and normal map information. The reason for this is here the channel steering or the channel option says I'm painting in colors and I'm painting in normal maps twice or both at the same time. But the problem is when I'm painting sometime on the same position, my normal maps will be added more and more and more and more, and that's really ugly. This happens very often when you are painting with your brush. But I want, here you see it, but I want very nice information, and I want that the normal map information is always at the same height, and I want to paint always at the same position, and I don't want to add new information or add new normal map height to this place. To do this, I switch a special option in my normal map board here on. In my channel channel controls for normal maps, I say I don't want to add more information to my painting, so I say no additive painting. This means when I'm painting normal information, I switch to the normal map mode, and painting again, you see nothing, because the depth here is on 23%, and I can add more information to the depth, but it will be not added to this place here, and that's great, because you have your color and your normal map at one time. And the normal map is always the same. So what you should do is you should set an amount that is very nice for you for the normal maps here, and start to paint the normal maps here. So, and now you can paint as much as you want, and the value will be always the same. It will be at 10%. Be sure you save your preset here, because sometimes it could happen that you forget, or you switch between some tools and forget which value was here, and I want to continue to paint and I forgot it. So it's good to save your value here by clicking here and say add preset, and it's here. And as you can see, it is a normal map. The projection or the stamp information is stored, the brush tip and all the other informations. And as you want, and if you want, you can click on right mouse button here and rename it. So for example, hammerhead projection. So this is our brush. So when I go to close and I choose another color, okay, and I choose some options here and start to paint and say, oh no, that's wrong, I would like to paint again. So, and then I go under delete and I have no information anymore in this layer. I go to Hammerhead Pro, and then all information will be loaded. In this case, my color was not stored here. So the color that was stored is white, but it was not loaded because I have to click here what have to be stored. I forgot, or I have not added colors. So you don't forget to, you can now choose the white color and start to paint, and you have all your information here back. I show it to you again by choosing the depth here. I delete it. It's at 48, and now I say hammerhead, and now it's again by 10. This is very nice, and now you can continue paint your hammer here. It's a little bit too much, I see. So when you see it's too much here in the normal map and you would like to update your brush, you can do the same. I delete the information and I say 5% is much better. Yeah. No, it's too much. 3, let's say 3%. It have to be, I like to have it slightly and not too much here. Okay, that's good. 3% is better. So when I click here with the left mouse button, my 10% come back, but I can update this this pen here, this preset, just by going here and say update presets. Or is it, yeah, ding, and now it is by 3. I show it to you. I go to 66 and click again on hammerhead, and now it's at 3. So all information that you have will be added or updated when you click on the right mouse button and say update preset. Good. And now I paint finally and paint my information. My texture here is a little bit bright, but this is not a problem, but it could be a problem when you have a gray background and a bright color. And sometimes some holes can be seen here. And to see your texture better but don't adjust the main color, you go here onto this layer, the layer is already selected, and go to layer blending and say the brightness have to be -50. Now your main texture is darker than before, but only because this layer blending has a brightness value of -50%. The main color information will be stored, but the effect will be that this texture is a little bit darker. This gives me the possibility to see better information here, or to see more information of my texture. And I start again. I will blend the other layers off and continue by painting this here. This is nearly the color I like to have for my hammerhead. So I think I will keep the color or keep the brightness in this value, or make it a little bit darker. It's not bad too. -80. Yes, looks better. And all this happened to this layer. If you think this is a long time to do all this, you can switch to the rectangle lasso and say fill it. And now all is filled, but not this element. So I say to here, ignore back faces off, fill, and now all is filled. Be carefully with this. You see the structure of your projection will be stretched a bit. Like here I do it by using it on the whole hammer. And you see the structure is sometimes a bit stretched. So you have to correct. It's very good for wood. You have learned it the last time. I've showed it to you. To create wood, it's great. But when you are creating such structures like metal or so, then you have to be careful. At the moment I'm painting from camera. The advanced users will say, why is he doing this? I can set my texture here from camera to cube mapping. And cube mapping means when I start to paint, first I see a preview of my texture. I don't know if you see it in the video, but you see it's a preview here where I'm moving my pen. I choose another tip. Here you can see it. You see the preview? This is the resolution that is used for my depth here. I click here onto the same, and you see it's from camera again, so I go to cube mapping and I make an update. Okay, and now you see it's very low resolution, because the resolution of your cube mapping mode is a little bit different to the camera projection. So what you have to do is you should scale your texture to have a better resolution, a finer resolution. You can do it the same here by using the glass, I don't know, this tool, zoom tool. And now when I'm painting, it looks a little bit better, but it's repeating, don't forget it. And now I check the rectangle again, and with one click all is painted. Again the same, E, ignore faces, no, and I say fill, and now all is filled. And it looks okay, I would say. This is okay. And I click Alt on the eye. No, it don't work. When you are clicking on a layer and click on the eye icon here and click the Alt key, you can switch between this object and the other object will be hidden. So the good thing in 3D code is you can hide all objects, but maybe you want to see the chord, and you can click and see the chord here. But when you click the Alt key or hold the Alt key and click here again on the hammerheads, and all layers will be blended in or shown. So this one here, this layer, it will be or will get the same information like this one. So it's a handle ring, and I will paint the handle ring the same like my hammerhead. Very nice. Good. Save it. And now the next layer that we are using is the cavity mask layer. So we paint some cavity information into this deeper parts here. This looks much better. The hammerhead looks more older, more used. And I told it to the German audience before. It's always better when you are painting or when you are creating new objects. Wait, I will create first my new layer. Cavity. Head cavity, dirt. When you are creating objects or painting objects, always try to form a story. So it helps you create your object. Every object have an own life, have an own story. What have been done with this model, with this hammer. Nobody knows it really. But if you are starting to form a story, then it's much easier. So our hammer is used by a dwarf, for example. I don't know, maybe. And that's the reason because why the hammer is so small and not big. And now I use this old hammer will get some cavity, some dirt. But only the dirt will be only placed here in the corners. To do this I choose my brown color that have to be used for my dirt here. Okay, any color. Now I could paint just the color information here, and I will close my projection. I don't need it at the moment, and I use only the color information. Now I could paint it again. Here it is. I could paint it by hand, but it looks not very nice. What I want to do is I would like to get the information that is stored here in the normal map and represents my cavity information. To do this I would like to paint here in the deeper elements. To do this I go to this pull down menu and say I would like to paint more in cavity. Now a small window appears, and this window is a preview of my information that is used for my painting. As you can see, there are some white parts and black parts. The white parts are the target where my color information will be stored later when I'm painting. And in this case, the deeper elements here will be used for my color information. You can move the window and see other positions where it can be painted. And when you are clicking on less in cavity, then it means it will be stored, the information will be stored on the top parts or the upper parts of your object. This is very nice when you are painting here with these elements. I will use it for my specularity later, for my very nice parts. Okay, good. I now go to more in cavity and I start to paint here. I click it here on this element and I don't see my preview. And now, as you can see, I can paint here in my parts and control my cavity. When I paint some time, so I can increase my value. You can use a bigger value from the start by using the cavity scale. I show it to you what happens when you are changing this value, because sometimes it's very less. Now you see the white elements, and when you when you set this cavity scale to a higher value, then you see the intensity is expanding, or it's growing. So what this means is, as you maybe imagine, when I'm painting here, I have much more information that is painted into my hammer. In this way I can reach parts which are normally not affected by my pen. So I show it to you again. I see much more structure. So when I go to 1 again, I see a less structure. So it have advantages and disadvantages. The advantage is you are faster. You can paint faster information to your object and more information. But the disadvantage is it's maybe too much. So sometimes it's good to have a middle value and be careful with your pen and don't press so much. I choose another one, and it works better then. So okay, I will now paint. As you can see, my brown color is not very nice. It have too less information. It's only brown. I switch to the 2D mode or to the flat shade mode, and you see it's just brown. I would like to calculate or to modulate, to blend the brown color with my color, with my texture below. And you can do this. I make some more information here into this hammer to make it nicer. You can do this by switching your color opacity blending mode. At the moment it's a standard blend, the normal or the regular blend. The regular blend represents here the color brown. Here it is. But if you are switching through the modes, you can use dissolve. Dissolve, it means it will be there is a noise, it's dissolved and only by pixels. And the more transparency you have, the more pixels will be, or the less pixels will be set, and so on. It's the same like in Photoshop. If someone is familiar with Photoshop, then it's the same nearly. You have some more modes here, because you are here on a 3D application where you can create textures for 3D games and so on. So you have some more modes. So you can choose the right mode for you, darken or multiply. And I am not sure which one I've used for my German tutorial. Color Dutch, I think, one of them. No, overlay. Yes, overlay is not bad. But I will take a brighter brown. Brown. And now paint again. No, it's ugly. This one. I store my brown here to get it later, and I think I will use multiply or linear burn. Yes, it's always the same. I am experimenting a lot of time. I will take multiply, I think. It's a little bit too dark, too bright, so too dark. So I will take a brighter brown. Okay, and now I would paint it here again. Good. Now it will be multiplied. It's a little bit too much maybe. So I go to 1. I delete it. Say this here. And say fill. Fill again. And again. And again. Looks better. And now I go to my brush and increase some parts to get a better information. Here it is. Now yeah, now at the next thing what I'm doing is I add some, oh wait, I'm not really ready. I have seen I must paint some information here for the structure to see it better. Yeah, I hope it's okay for you to look over my shoulder and see what I'm doing in real time. But yeah, okay, here we have it. You could use you could calculate an ambient occlusion map in 3D Code to use this, but 3D Code have not a very nice routine at the moment. In the next updates you will get a better routine for calculating ambient occlusion, but at the moment it's very bad. So if you need a good ambient occlusion map, my proposal is to use a different application like XNormal. I don't know if you know it. The tool is called XNormal or XNormal. It's completely free and calculates very nice occlusion maps. So you can export your model, your high resolution model and your real-time model, and use this tool for calculating ambient occlusion maps. Good. The next one is my specular information. Head specularity, and this is here. I paint just the specularity, and the specularity here is by 100%, and I start to paint and see nothing, because I'm painting in cavity. I want to paint less in cavity, so here. And before I do this, I just want to see only my hammerhead, and I start to paint. And you see the cavity or the specular information is as here can be seen. One more point, maybe I like to turn not the center of my scene or my view. I like always to rotate around current pick points. That's very nice. So I rotate where I'm picking, if you maybe like to know it. To control my specularity values better, I switch to the specularity only mode and paint here. I don't see very much information, but I know my object. By the way, if you want add specularity, you paint just with your left mouse button, and if you want subtract specularity, you can use your eraser of your Wacom pen. Here I'm using it at the moment, or you can press the control key while painting. Then specularity will be subtracted. Yeah. So I make my pen tip a little bit smaller. Here we have it again. That's very nice. And I'm painting on and on. Maybe I show you the side view, and I choose my rectangle and ready. That looks very nice. Okay, maybe the same again to get a little bit more information, and paint this one. Don't forget always to save your scene, because sometimes it could happen an accident, an alien spaceship could land on your house and your scene is suddenly gone. Nobody knows it. It could happen, maybe. So always try to don't forget to save your scene to your hard disk, as I do sometimes. For me it's important, of course. For the video it would be very sad when I suddenly would lose my information. You need a little bit of time. I hope you have the time. I guess you have the time because you are still listening to my video, so I guess you have the time to wait. So we have it. Okay. Do I have all information stored? I am not sure. No. For any reason this information is not stored. Very good. So what I can do now is I can say less in cavity. Is this right? More? No, more in cavity, and use here some elements, some more. I know it's a little bit wrong, but it sometimes looks not bad. Okay. Here is our hammer, how it looks in our render room. Better. Okay. Paint. 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 Okie dokie. Not bad. Good. So we go back to this mode. Now we place some brown dirt. So add. I create a new layer and say it's add splashes. That's right. Dots, splashes, splash. I don't know. I hope so. I hope you understand. You will see what I mean. Before I do this, it's like old blood or old elements. Before I do this, I import a new stencil. I've prepared a stencil, and that stencil import works the same like stamps. So I go here, hide color. Okay, you click on new and say you want to have a stencil. I take this one. I have two different stencils. What I have here is I have a map. Wait, from camera, reset, tile, also, okay, hidden out to show. What I've done here is I have a map that was before a texture, and I've made it black and white here. And now I can use the white information as a mask. So I hide it, but it's still here. And now I can use it for masks. And I will use it for old blood. And here, for example, like this dot, for example. I will do a different color, a little bit more red. So this way. And this for here, and so on. What I can do here, I have the advantage I can use my mask or my mask elements and position them somewhere and make some nice structures. So, and I say to this download blend, darken, no, multiply, it's too dark. Color burn a little bit less, or linear burn, or overlay. No, overlay is not bad. Overlay is good. These are awesome, and I can use it for cool effects like this one, for example, here, and turn it a bit. Get another, and the same can be done. You can do it as much as you want, and if you think your hammer is bloody and dangerous and so on, and has a lot of experience, then you can use it here and make all this stuff. It's always your decision to, and your fantasy, what to do. That's the nice of creating textures for games. And again, make some hard elements. Okay. Because I'm working here a bit in the perspective, the splashes will be moved. The projection here. Oh yes, this one is again good. So you can see it looks like a move and so on. So I do some dots here. Ooh. Something is going wrong. What is wrong? Tiling. Yes, the tiling is not working in this version for the masks, so don't be surprised. That was the reason. But it's corrected in the upcoming updates for the upcoming version. And again, here's some splashes. Details are very interesting and very important for good objects, so don't waste time or invest time and make good work. Try to make good work. A little bit more here. And I import a new mask. It will be used here, a little bit different. This one is, it looks like blood that is flowing down, and it's very cool for the sides here. Yes, it looks like a move. And the same I will do here on the corner. Oops, too much. Where? Oh, here. Okay. Maybe another one here. Okay. And some of this. Good. Yes, and in the front, it works very nice at the front, I guess. I turn it and use it here. Okay. Great. Good. That's very nice. Splatter and zombie-like. Takes the other mask and make some dirt here, or some, for any reason there are dots here too, and maybe another one here, and I close it here. Good. Some more. Yeah. Good. Here we have it. This is the hammer head at the moment, and now it's going on to paint the specular information here for the lower, this part. Good. So I go to the specularity channel and switch to specularity and start to paint. As you can see, it looks like this. But I would like to paint more in cavities and show me the preview. Great. And no, less in cavity. Yes, this is what I want. And click and start to paint here. Yeah. Or just say handle ring, E, fill, ready. What is this? Strange. Ah, it's interesting. For any reason, this information is not used for my lesson cavity. I don't know why. It should. So I will delete this here a bit. Wait. I will delete the whole layer and paint it by hand to make it better. So this is now, it looks okay. Now it looks like I want. It's because of this this cord here, I think. Okay, and now some cavity dirt, and this is the moment where I forgot which color I've used for my dirt. So I hope I can get it back. It's this one, and I have lost my blood color. No, oh, anyway. And now I start to cavity dirt, only the color information. No, wrong one. More in cavity. And again the candle ring, and we have it here. A little bit darker. Okay, looks all right. Can someone tell me where my specularity is gone? Yes, I know I've deleted it. I have deleted it. Good. Not good really. What I do now is I will load my scene. No, I will do my undo. I've deleted for any reason, not for any reason, for accident. I've deleted my cavity. Here it is again. So I will save it. And now I go to the handle ring again, and I will delete only this part. Oh yes, undo. Only this part. Ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ah, I know why. This is specularity information, and if you want to delete your specularity, you have to set it to 0. And you have to fill it with this value, and actually it should be gone, but it's not. Why? Because more in cavity. Now it's gone. Great. Good. I filled it with the value of 0. This was the reason. So okay. Now again the handle ring, not the candle, the handle. The handle, and again specularity, forgive me my fault. Undo on less than cavity thing, E, and again the right brush, paint, more paint, paint, and here we have it. And now more in cavity, take the color here and only the color, and go to the cavity dirt, and I start to paint here again with my color that have to be used for the dirt. Great, safe. So this is the result that we expect at the moment. Yeah, here I could use a little bit more specularity. Sorry for this. Or less. Yeah. Less in cavity means hammerhead, and I fill it. The best is to fill it. Oops, no, you see, these are artifacts and this is a bug, so I am forced to paint it. Sometimes there are some ugly bugs that only the programmers understand, the artists don't like. Don't ask me why. Okay. So what I do now, I will paint manually a little bit more of these elements here, because I want to have some more specular. And I do this without cavity or something like this. I am doing it manually, very carefully, for of course. So only these corners, maybe a little bit here. Yes, that's okay. Good. And what I do now is here I make these elements brighter, but I don't want to do this again and paint all. So what I do now is I say head brighter, and I select now only the cavity information. To do this I click on specularity layer, because here is only the cavity informations. And say right mouse button, freeze Color the specular. Wait. Invert specularity. Remove. No. Yes, I know. It's not really not really possible, because the information of your specularity cannot be used as a selection or a freeze. So unfortunately you only can freeze painted informations and not specularity informations. That was something that I have forgotten. So what I have to do now is, unfortunately, I have to paint the brighter information. Again, less in cavity and only the color. But this time I'm using a much higher value. Okay, and I try to be fast, but because in this way it looks much nicer. It looks like a real metal. That's at this position, so that's the reason why I would like to do it again. Okay, so I try to be fast and show it to you. I hope I am fast enough before you go to sleep and say again he's painting and painting and we are looking what he is doing and learning nothing. I hope we learned something here. But that's the time I need to do this here. Oh yes, I erase a little bit by using the control. The control button is always the inverted function of what you are using at the moment. So by the way, I will try to finish the hammer today. I think I will do it. So this will be, or this is, the last episode of my tutorial series for the hammerhead. Yes, after a long time I am finally ready with all information that we need to create such a weapon. I needed a long time, but I hope you enjoyed the time by watching my tutorials. Here we have it. This looks much better. Maybe very bright, but that's how metal is a little bit. And go to the perspective mode, show you the hammer. And here we have it. Okay, I make it a little bit darker because it's too much, or no, it's okay. Good. The same I do for here, and the same I do for the candle, for the handle ring. Good. Here we have it. And now the splashes for the blood. And I take the blood information from this here by using the V key. And splashes I go again to standard blend and say V. and now I have the information. Wait, I go to high color and now I say V, and this is my value for my blood. I save the value here and say this is overlay 100%, and I start to paint the blood by using the mask. No, that's the wrong one, this one here, yes. Okay, good. Here we have it. Close. Looks okay. Okay, now I put some. Now I get, or I give the color to my chord. The next one will be again a folder, and as you can see now, the folder was created here in the hammerhead. This happens sometimes because this layer was selected, and when I close this folder, the new folder will be created here. So I select the hammerhead folder and say now a new folder, and now I say chords, save it, select my chords, create a new layer, chord main color, and the color for my chord will be filled. Here's the chord, and now I fill my chord with a color, and I use a king color like this red, and say I want to fill an object, and I want to fill this object chord. Preview. Nothing is seen. Why is nothing seen? Here, chord again. Preview. Here it is. Okay, and now it is filled. As you can see, the chord is filled when I open the texture window by using here textures, texture UV editor. I have set the key to Control T to see it. Then I can see here is my chord information, and it's filled. Great. I use this color to represent the chord, and I save the color to use it later again maybe. Now I do the same here, and I say chord shadows or dark areas or cavity dark, and I say nothing. This one will be I paint with the same information with the same color, but I say it have to be multiplied here in this color mode. So I go more in cavity. Yes, I must check it first. Is this right? This is right. More in cavity is right, but not this value. It's too much. I say 1, and now I start to paint and paint the structure that is used, or that is here in the chord. Here we have it. Now it looks a little bit better, more contrast. And the same I do on less in cavity, but not with this color here. I will do it by using a brighter color, a bit. This came from. Wait, I must make a new layer. Chord brighter. This makes the chord older because the sun have influence on my chord, and the chord looks bad and gray at the positions here. because the sun has made it gray or used, and this is the reason why it looks this way. So I can take color, so it's a coloring value, or no, I will highlight and mistakes, no. Lightness, yes, lightness looks very nice. Standard lightness. Lightness looks great. It fits my needs here. Here at the end it's a little bit more, or much more. Now you see. Very nice. Now this is the way how it looks in this mode. At the end, yes, there's one more object. So this one is very cool. I will make a small golden ball. Yes, I make it golden. A new folder. Sphere. Gold sphere. And make a new layer. Sphere main. Or base color. And I will fill it with a gold value, so a bit more. Okay, fill object and sphere. Okay, what happened? Object sphere preview. Okay, it's not filled. Less than cavity. Okay. The reason was less than cavity was on. Okay, now it's filled. And the same will be done by using the specularity intensity 100 and fill it again. Yes. Sphere. And now it's completely in this way. But the problem is it looks not very interesting. So what I do now is I give it some structure. The only problem is I see my specularity is here in the layer 2. All layers can store all the information that have to be used here, that have to be painted here. So I delete my specularity and make a new layer. Sphere specularity. But this time I will not fill it. This is Chris. Sorry. I will not fill it. I will paint it. The reason for this is I will use a mask to paint it, and I will use this mask to paint my sphere, and you will see why it looks much better than I will make a combination of different masks to do this. Here. Okay, now it looks like this. It has much more structure. Can you see it? Here's the structure. Very cool. And now I will take the other one and make some more elements to it. Okay. My problem is I had the possibility to to make some structure on it, so I will do it just by using this here. Depth will be to 3% and make some for structures to make it more interesting. It's an old magic something, I don't know what, a magic ball, a sphere, whatever, but it looks, yeah, it have to be looking cool. Okay, this is the structure, and this one, the structure will get some color too, base color, and I will now make a new layer here, add, yeah, special color. Okay, and which color would be used? Well, let's see, maybe a complementary color. Wrong layer. More cavity, no, less in cavity, a bit more cavity. Okay, no, 3, no, 2.5. The other color, this one, to make some more animation, and maybe a mask here. Again. Yeah, and more a bit here, close, and maybe I try to make a small effect, color burn. Yes, looks very cool. It looks very how it is in English, spooky, and yeah, such stuff. This is, it looks not bad. Or overlay, no, linear burn. Yes, this is more the color I like. And now the last step before we are ready with our hammer, I will add some additional information that we have not calculated because we don't use, or I don't use ambient occlusion here. So what I do now is I will add some manually some infos. I will first do this and move it down. Manually ambient occlusion. So I will choose a gray value or black. And for any reason there is some information where. Here is color information, gold sphere or quartz, hammerhead. It's a hammerhead. And what is the reason for this? Yeah, dirt. Okay, it's a cavity dirt. Good, so I will delete it. By using this. Okay. Oh, there was a small problem. Good. Now I go to the manually ambient occlusion, and I will start to paint it here a little bit. But I am using it by using this brush here and this, and now you see I can paint it, and I use it here. This makes it much more interesting. Of course, it's always better to calculate it, but as you have, if I say to you, it's a little bit bad, a little bit is good. Multiply bad here in 3D code. I move it down some before the handle. It's in the handle. Cavity, no hammerhead. Manually ambient occlusion. Okay, I put it here. No, I will do it here. Good. So better to use a tool like Xnormal. Maybe one thing what you can learn. I'm painting. Predical paints where you start. This is a connective picking mode. So when I start to paint here, I paint only on this object. That's great. But sometimes, like today, I like to paint on both objects. So I go here to volume based and I paint now on both. You see? It will be painted on both objects. So this is so now this can be used now for painting information on both elements. But in this case I will switch it off, connective picking, because I would like to paint only here. And I will switch the handle only on. And instead of using this mode, I will use color burn, but not this much. It's much cooler. And start to paint here. And so, as I told you, normally I am calculating this information, but as I told you, this is in this case, in this way, it's not very good. Okay, so I would say this looks not bad. Ah, yeah, the sphere. Of course, the sphere, but then I'm ready. Great, great, great. I will make some more intensity to the specularity. It's not here in this layer, but no problem. I hope it's okay. So great, now we have it. This is our hammerhead. I know I forgot something. Blood must have some specularity, haha, but this is very easy and very fast. Sorry, this is our splashes layer, and you can click on splashes and can right click this and freeze transparent pixels. So in this way the transparency will be freezed. You can only paint here on these elements, and as you can see, all is black. What I've done is I've used a special mode here, show hide freeze here, and I do it again by clicking on control and on splashes and again control on splashes. Okay, again freeze transparency, and it will be not freezed. Show hide freeze. Ah yes, okay, here it is. I've used a special mode. You can switch between the modes by the freeze mode, right? And you can use the toggle freeze view. Here is the freezing that is by default, I think, but I like the black one here, this one, because it's more yeah, you don't have this problems. So, and if you want to freeze only the transparent area, you click on control, hold control key and say here click on splashes, and now all the area is freezed. Now I switch to my specularity mode and say head specularity, and now I paint only the splashes, but I do it in the splashes layer because I could for example maybe change them later, and this is fresh here in this way. And the other blood is not fresh, it's old. Okay, now I've unfrozen it, and now it all is like fresh blood here, as you can see. Here we have it. Okay, this is our hammerhead. I hope you liked it. And yes, this is the last episode of my tutorial series. I am ready with my computer game model. I hope you liked my tutorials and you have learned something for your work and for your own models. Yeah, and I hope I will see you, or you will see me or hear me in one of the upcoming tutorials. Thank you very much. Visit my YouTube channel and drop me an email or drop me an info message if you have any questions. Thank you very much. Bye bye.